Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. If you guys are new to the channel, welcome. My name is Ken, also known as MrKenDenis. So in today's video, I have got some Fenty Beauty products to talk to you guys about. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys click on the subscribe button down below and also that bell so you get notified when I do have a new video up. I basically do a lot of beauty, hair, and makeup related videos, and I also vlog about my personal life. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Girl, Rihanna got me shook. I am so impressed. First of all, let's praise her for like bringing out 40 shades of foundation. Like seriously, yay for people of color. That is impressive. I mean, she is Rihanna, so she probably had, you know, the money to back it up, but still. That is impressive. And you know, I really like the aesthetic of her brand. I love how there's like sort of like symmetry and just like the shapes of it all. But anyway, we're here to talk about the foundation and the highlighter. Okay, so before we start, I just wanted to let you guys know what my skin type is and what I look for in a foundation so that you guys can see if my views align with your wants and needs as well, to see if this review is going to be appropriate for you guys. Okay, so my skin. So I am currently 27 years old, male. I have, I would say, normal skin with a slightly oilier T-zone. I find that most foundations, they tend to get a little bit funny around the nose, around here. That's just the nature of the beast, I suppose, with me. In terms of what I look for in a foundation, in terms of the finish, I go for anything between a dewy and a matte. I find that both extremes are just too much for me. So anything like a demi-matte, slightly dewy finish, soft matte, velvet, whatever term you have those I will go for. In terms of coverage, I always go for at least the very bare minimum, medium coverage to full coverage. So those are what I look for in a foundation, my skin type. Now let's move on to the review. Alright, let's talk about packaging first with the foundation. So you get 32 ml of product. That's what it looks like. Honestly, the shape of the bottle is quite unique. I haven't seen any foundation brand out there that has this sort of like shape, so I think that's quite unique. Correct me if I'm wrong if it's not unique. Love the fact that it's just very plain and simple in terms of color design. It's just white, and then you've got a pump. The pump is actually pretty decent. You can control how much product you get to dispense. And again, 32 mils, that's like 2 mils more than your average foundation. Most foundations only have 30 mils, so you know, well done, Riri. So let's look at the Sephora website. So I believe it's a Sephora exclusive. It says it's a soft matte long wearing foundation with buildable medium to full coverage in a range of 40 shades. Girl, I have to say, definitely is a soft matte foundation. So as you guys can see from this clip, I'm applying the foundation on my skin, and yes, it is way too dark for me. I've also got some big color correction as well. I did order this online when it did first launch, and to be completely honest, I chose the wrong shade. I just thought like, that looks okay. Then when I got it in the mail, as you guys can see, super dark, but it's alright, I can work with it. I blended it down everywhere, and I think it's going to be a good summer shade, to be completely honest. I'm not completely fussed. Now with this particular foundation, I do have to say you do have to work quite quickly with it because it does dry quite quickly. So definitely get your beauty blender and just bounce quickly, or use your brush, whatever. My preferred method with foundations in general is just using a beauty sponge. I find that I just get a more natural finish. In terms of coverage, it's definitely more of a medium full coverage, but definitely buildable to almost full coverage if you wanted to. Like, this foundation is insane. Now another thing about this foundation that a lot of people are talking about is it's got this photo filter thing. It gives a nice smooth, soft, focused, diffuse, pore look, shine free. It's definitely got to do a lot with the foundation itself. It's the consistency, I feel, that it, you know, builds up in the pores. In terms of like looking really smooth, I think it's also got to do with the coverage. Would I say it's super flawless? I would say it's a good 7 out of 10. I definitely still feel like if I wanted that absolute flawless skin look, I need a pore filling primer like the Benefit Professional or something on the silicone side, but that's just me because I do have large pores and I've got some uneven texture in my skin because I am a guy. But yeah, I think you can definitely get that. It also depends on the primer. In terms of compatibility with formulas, and when it comes to concealers, liquid concealers works fine, absolutely no issues. But when it comes to cream concealers, that's when I find that it's a little bit of an issue. Now, in this particular video, I actually did use the NARS creamy, NARS Soft Matte Concealer. That one is quite creamy, to be completely honest, but on top of this foundation, I did find that it was sucking up the moisture from the concealer and it was sort of like dragging, so that's definitely something to look out for if you guys do use your fingers when you apply cream concealers. You might get a little bit of resistance. I did find with this particular foundation I had to work quickly and also have to use a wet sponge, otherwise it just didn't blend as well as it normally would. In terms of setting the foundation, I honestly always set my foundations regardless of the finish, so I can't really tell you guys if this would last without setting. I would imagine if you guys had slightly oilier skin, it probably wouldn't, so definitely pack on a little bit of powder just in case. Now in terms of longevity, I did have one day where I wore it for a good 12 hours. That's insanely long, and it lasted pretty well. It looked pretty good still at the end of the day. Like, I could just do a little bit of blotting, add a little bit of powder on top, and it still would look fine. So overall, I think this foundation is really good. If you guys can find a shade for yourself, I definitely think that you guys should try it out. Okay, now we'll move on to the Kilowatt highlighter. First of all, packaging, really like the whole shape of it, the hexagon. Is that hexagon? Hopefully I am right. And the finish of the actual packaging, it's got a really nice, I suppose, holographic finish. It's really nice. Mirror is a decent size, roughly the same size as the actual highlighter. And then you've got the FB, I don't know if you guys can even see that because of my bright lights. Fenty Beauty embossed there. This one is the Kilowatt in Metal Moon, sorry, and you get 8 grams of product, and I have to say, not impressed. It's not as blinding as I thought. I honestly thought, because this is a white one, that it's going to be super bright on me. I had to layer it on today, and I also had to use a setting spray, as you guys can see from this clip. I have used a fan brush, and I've also used sort of like the regular sort of like packing highlighter brush, and both times not impressed. I think with the packing brush, obviously I got a little bit more color, a bit more pigment, but yeah, just not super impressed. So when I run my finger, it kind of looks a little bit powdery, a little bit chalky. Put it on my hand, see, like, you can't even see it. Let me try and really build it up on my finger. Like, obviously finger swatches aren't the best to rely on, but you can kind of gauge the pigmentation. It's not that good. And again, with the brush, like, I'm really swirling it. It kind of looks a little bit powdery. Again, it might be because it's a little bit light for my skin, but in terms of like blindingness, I would have assumed this would have been really blinding on my skin, but not really. Yeah. So unfortunately, the highlighter in Metal Moon for me is a fail. Sorry, Riri, I don't really think it's worth the money because there's so many blinding highlighters out there. And I feel like with that golden one, Trophy Wife, I think it's more the fact that it's pigmented gold more than the actual blindingness of it. I haven't actually tried out the other highlighters, so I don't really know what to say about those. I did kind of look at the matchsticks, but I wasn't really interested because, again, it's like a matte formula. I'm not really into like matte creamy stick formulas in general on my skin, but who knows, I might go in store and try them out and I might come out with a few items. Yeah, there you guys go. That is my product review on the Fenty Beauty foundation and the Metal Moon Kilowatt highlighter. Definitely let me know what you guys think about the range down in the comment box down below. Don't forget to thumbs up the video if you guys enjoyed the video as well. Don't forget to check out my other social media links on this screen, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!